here, get in here right now. Get in here now. I am super excited to be back. I'd be saying I'd be back like if I'd be like missing for a long time. Sometimes I do. But I had a lot going on this weekend. I had to work some games. I had to do some things. I don't know what's on my shirt. You all have been showing my other videos so much love, and I'm super duper excited. Even though for, most people, they'll look at it like, this video doesn't have a lot of likes. This video doesn't have a lot of all the jazz and all the great things, but to me, it means a lot whether I get 3 views or 100 views, hell, even 1.10, whatever views. It doesn't matter. I love the support that y'all are giving me, and I'm super duper happy and excited. Happy Monday. It's Monday Madness. Now, I don't usually, I'm going to stop working on Mondays because I have other things to do, but because I didn't come on here Saturday, hopefully you caught me over there on Sunday when I was on Twitter, but because I haven't been over here, I'm like, let me do a video. And tomorrow I will not be doing a show anyway, because normally we do our Tuesday huddle. And unless I just feel like getting up in the morning and just doing the show early in the morning, I'm probably not going to actually make it on the show tomorrow. So I figured, why not do the show today? Whatever. But starting October, we will be going according to the schedule, and I will be putting out, notices of when I'm going to be on the show. Okay? I got to get all of my announcements and housekeeping things done up front. Okay, so starting October 1st, which is Wednesday, and I'm just letting you know that I do not stream or do anything on Wednesday. I may pop up here or there to do a wild card Wednesday, but I don't stream on Wednesdays. Okay, Wednesday is like middle of the week, the hump. The news is typically slow, and there's just not a lot going on those days. And plus, I just need a mental day. So we do not stream on Wednesdays. So that is going to be according to the new schedule. I know I've been talking about the schedule for the longest, and y'all are probably like, girl, you'll never go according to your schedule. It's going to start October 1st. Okay? We're going to be streaming Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sundays will be random shows at times, but it's not going to be any show. You can find me over there on Twitter or X at PG Love Sports. I will also be joining another football game day show, which is going to be on Thursdays, I believe, as well. That is coming out. An announcement is coming out tomorrow, and the schedule is going up as well tomorrow. So I have a lot of things going on and going up. So be prepared, pay attention, and keep the support. Keep subscribing. It really, really, really is making a huge difference. So thank you guys. Of course, I had to get the yapping about that first, because that's the housekeeping things. We have to just put it out the way. Okay. So if you see me and you see this video, make sure you're liking it. Like it. Leave me a comment, whether if it's commenting your favorite football team, comment your favorite color. I don't care. Comment your favorite food to eat. If you like to drink, tell me your favorite liquor. And soon I'm going to be using some of these comments to do raffles, okay? Because we're coming up, we're meeting my milestones. So either way, I had to do those housekeeping things. I wanted to get those out the way. I'm going to run my introduction. If you don't know who I am Des with the Daily Dose of Des show under Pretty Girls Love Sports. And I bring to you all the drama, the hoops, the hollers, the facts, because I love going on facts. I will state my opinion, but I will spread the facts. That is the saying over here. And we have a lot to jump into and discuss. It has been a very, very eventful weekend, and Monday Night Football is currently on, but both these teams are both of the games are kind of struggling, in my opinion. It's the Jets and the Dolphins, and there's an update with Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins, and then you have the Bengals and the Broncos. The Broncos are currently winning, but they're also struggling a little bit against that Bengals defense. So, without further ado, you know what I gotta do. Okay, so strap up. You know what I meant. And we'll be right back after this.
Admit it.
yeah. So, yeah, these games, the Dolphins are winning 24-13, but they're playing the New York Jets. So the Dolphins will get their first win of the season. Um, but it really doesn't mean much when both teams are 0-3. So, I mean, I'm just passing a message, okay? Don't try to shoot the messenger, okay? But let me do this right here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, boom. Had to make sure I put myself up, make sure I look good. I also just want to say that we have reached 388. We need to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Can y'all help me out with that? How are we gonna get there? Before I also get into all of my little topic things too, I want to show you guys my jacket. Isn't it so cute? I'm probably not gonna. Do I want to stand up? Okay, let's see. Can you see here? Oh, Jesus, falling over. My jacket, isn't it cute? Yeah, I don't have my actual terrible tassel. Got the one with the patch. Boom, super cute. And I know, yes, I wear a jacket because I keep my studio coat. Okay, don't ask me the questions. And, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. But at least it's in the 2000s. Okay, because everybody can't say that. And it goes all the way down. So if you want, and on the back it says, Pretty Girls Love Sports. Boom. Okay. Yeah, so all the pretty girls, if you want a customized jacket, I do still make them. I got to start wearing my merch. Got to start putting my business out there. I don't do that enough. I don't do it enough. And everybody's always asking me, like, you do all these things, you make all these things, you don't put them out. Yeah, you're right. I have a business, okay? So I do customize jackets, jeans, all of those things, and you'll consistently see them as we make our way and as we do the things that need to be done because I have a business. Anyway. The postseason for MLB is here. I usually hold off with talking too much about MLB because during their regular season, they have like 120 games or something like that. It's a lot of games that they play, and it's a lot to keep up with in terms of, college football, NFL, and all other things. But we do dive in when it comes time for the postseason, and the postseason is set. A lot of people were in the comments when I seen this bracket, and they were like, "Where are the Mets? Where are the Mets?" Well, the Mets lost, and they kicked their own selves out of the postseason. Okay, so I seen a thing about the Mets. The Mets have done this twice, where they have a roster of over, I believe it was $300 million, and they don't make it into the postseason. Yeah. So the Mets have a long way to go. But you know who is in there? The Yanks. The Yanks. The Yanks are in there. Okay? The Yankees are in there. Yeah. Yeah. Say what you want, but they're in there. Okay? So the Yankees will be facing Boston. I didn't say they was going to win. I just said they was there. Okay? Apparently, Boston has been doing great. I mean, they're here, but people are, love Boston, or maybe they just hate the Yankees. So because they hate the Yankees, that's what it is. Because they hate the Yankees, they want Boston to win. And I'm not here for it. I'm just going to say that now. Okay? I'm not here for it. But whoever wins from there will be facing Toronto. And to be honest with you, I don't know anything about Toronto. Don't know. What I do know is that Seattle has never won the World Series. So that's the thing. But anyway, Cleveland and Detroit will be facing off. Not surprising there to me. I feel like the Guardians have come a really long way. Surprisingly though, up in that like central Midwest area, northern Midwest. What do you guys call it? Let me know in the comments because when I think about it, I think like it's middle, but it's north, but it's also considered west, Midwest, northern. What is it? Let me know, okay? But Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, they got it going on. They got it going on. Baseball is doing their thing there. Of course, the LA Dodgers are in there. I do feel as though the LA Dodgers are going to beat Cincinnati. It's just my opinion there, but anything could happen. This is sports in this postseason and things get crunk and they get turned up. So anything could happen there. The San Diego Padres, wasn't expecting them on this list. And the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, Chicago Cubs. I had to make sure I was saying it right. They'll be facing off, and then they'll have to face a stern Milwaukee team. Again, that's another fourth with that like Midwest thing going on. So the Midwest is bringing it. They are bringing it. Okay, Philly, no surprise there. Yeah, so the postseason is getting crunk up. I would like to see the Yankees advance, obviously. I would like to see, only because one of my battles is a Cubs fan, I'm going to say the Cubs. My battle's a Cubs fan. So I feel like he watched my video sometime, and if I don't say that I'm supporting the Cubs, he's gonna be at my throat. So I'm gonna say I'm going for the Cubs. So I think it's going to be LA, Philly. I think it's going to be Chicago, Milwaukee. I think it's going to be Cleveland, Seattle. And I think it's going to be New York and Toronto. My opinion. But we know that crazy things can happen. So it could be a mix up there. But we're now going to start covering MLB as it comes up because it's all right. They have such a long season. So you literally could like not pick it up until mid-season and you still would have a lot of games and have a lot of coverage to go. But that's enough for MLB. I feel like that's the most boring part of my content. Of the video thing. So we had to just dive in and get that done first. Hey. Jen, hey to the chat. Looking forward to the postseason. Yeah, I think postseason. I think postseason is just going to spice it up. I feel like every postseason for baseball spices things up, and that's why I really like to dive in. It's kind of like hockey. I love me some hockey. Y'all know I'm going to bring up hockey because hockey's starting here soon. I hope my Kraken can do better this year. But I feel like the teams could suck all the way into like All-Star, and after All-Star they start getting better and you start to see who's going to inch ahead, and then in postseason they just surprise you. Right? They just surprise you like, what? Some of these teams are going to feed families, okay? They're going to feed families for real. But again, I just get excited about that because just they're here. We're going to move on to basketball, though. So the Phoenix Mercury have advanced to the finals. They have made me eat my words, so that's why they had to come on here second. Because I said that Minnesota was the team to beat. Okay, series was not as good as I was expecting it to be. The Mercury turned up, and I should have known, Alyssa. I should have known. But I didn't know. I was like, Minnesota has been great all year. And you know what? Sometimes you be on up, but you cannot rely on just 1 to 2 players to really get your team over the hump. And I think that's what Minnesota kind of ran into. They have a great system over there, great players. But when Na went out, it was like, this series is over. Like the Mercury is going to go to the finals. And it's so crazy because a lot of times I think for so long we waited to see BG get to the finals with the Mercury, and then like she's not there anymore, but she helped Atlanta really advance. And now it's like, oh wow, wow. If only she was there. But Alyssa is one of the most phenomenal players there is that's in the W. So to see her be able to get another team into this position and actually get them to the finals is like chef's kiss. They have a really great system over there. I watched the game and I was like, whoa, they came back from a deficit. And it was like, one thing we're not going to do and is lose. That's what we're not losing. We're not losing. So yeah. So upset that the Phoenix won. Yes. I mean, I was in it. I was like, Phoenix is not gonna win. Like I was hard on them. I was. That terrible is how it's triggered. You know what? You know what? You know what? I can make you want to and put the Vikings thing right there. I can do it for you. But yeah, I think that with Phoenix winning, I'm going to say that the Aces are probably going to. I'm now on the boat for the Aces. I don't say I was never on the boat for the Aces, but I was like Minnesota versus the Aces. That's who I saw going to the finals. I thought it was going to be a really good series. But now we're going for the Aces. I think the Aces can pull one out, even though the Fever is giving them one heck of a run. Aaliyah Boston over there has turned things up. They're turning it up and they're not making it easy. And it's the playoffs. It shouldn't be easy. You should never be easy in the playoffs. If it's easy in the playoffs, one of those teams shouldn't be there. I'm just saying. So I think that the Aces will turn it out and they will win the series. They're going to be a little bit tired going into the finals, but I feel like just the way that they gave the Fever the first game, I think that they'll probably give them the first game and then they'll come back blazing because one thing for certain, two things for sure, when they get to the finals, they're a completely different team. They show up very differently and it's literally like all hands on deck and they have one of the best coaches in the WNBA. So I don't see where they should have a problem in the next round. But that's just, again, my opinion. Okay, so we're going to move on to more basketball, but this time is not as great as we would want it. And that is because our girl, Ju, has announced that she will be sitting out for the whole season and focusing on her recovery. And the announcement came over Instagram. It was a nice little pinkish post and just saying like over the season they have been focusing really on her recovery, her getting better and being the best basketball player that she could be. And I think so many people were excited, so many people were so bummed when she first went out and it was like, oh man. And so many people were excited to see her come back in this year, but she's not. And I think it's just take your time. Don't be like Jason Tatum over there and it's already on the court after you just got surgery. And I get that medical has come a really long way to where you can probably be up in 6 months. You can be better in less than a year. But I think focusing fully on your recovery so when you come back, you are the best complete player. I think that's just the best decision if that's what her team and her medical doctors have said, and that's what she feels is best for her. Then we are going to continue to root for her and cheer for her in her recovery because we cannot wait to see her back on the court. We know that she's one of the best, and we can't wait to see her be at her best when she returns in the 2026-2027 season. So that was my news about Jill. I love this picture of her. I gotta point this way. I love this picture of her, by the way. It's just something about it. I don't know. I just love everything about the picture. I really want that top. Top is super duper cute. Yeah, super duper cute. All right, anyway. And something else with basketball. Talk about, they tell you to root for yourself. Like bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. But they don't mean it literally. Okay, so when you have to bet on yourself, right, they just mean do the best you can do. Let me make this a little smaller because I don't like people taking up my space. They just mean do the best that you can do. They don't really mean sports bet on yourself. Yeah. We see these stories all the time, so it's nothing new, it's nothing surprising here. But the NCAA has banned these three players for betting on themselves, betting against their performance in college basketball. I'm going to bring up the article because you know what I say. I say state my opinion, but I spread the facts. And the facts are they made a dummy move and made a stupid decision and got caught. They probably was doing well with the betting, and that's probably why they continue to do it. But they have locked down so much on athletes and even like employees with sports betting that one way or another you are going to get caught. And I hate to say it, but if you're going to do it, have someone else do it for you. Don't do it yourself. You're just opening yourself up to getting caught that much quicker. But according to the article, okay, because I got to get their names because I definitely didn't write down their names. Why is the article so close? Okay, so the NCAA issues permanent ban to three men's basketball players from Fresno State and San Jose State for sports betting. They said, we need to get this money. We need to get this money because there is not NIL deals floating around here. We need the money. Okay, we need the coin. So they said, we're going to bet on ourselves. And wrong idea. But it says they are permanently ineligible after an investigation uncovered that they were involved in sports betting game manipulation. The quote says, as part of a coordinated effort, they were doing together. Yeah. The student athletes bet on their own games, one another's games, and or provided information that enabled others to do so during the 2024-2025 regular season. And this came from an NCAA press release. The players involved were Michael Robinson, Steven Vasquez, and Jalen Weaver. All three men had played for Fresno State, while Vasquez later transferred to San Jose State. Fresno State and San Jose State were not penalized for the players' misconduct. The three players are no longer enrolled at their previous schools. Robinson and Vasquez did not cooperate with the investigation, according to the NCAA, while Weaver agreed to the violation in his case. Notifications from Fresno State and a sports betting integrity monitor about suspicious prop bets placed on Robinson triggered the NCAA investigation. That led to evidence that the three players shared information on individual betting lines to manipulate outcomes to win. Of course, they have the findings and everything like that. One of them says that Vasquez and a third party bet a combined $2,200 on Robinson for his underlying performance in the categories. And then it says, as a result of Robinson's underperformance, there was a $15,950 payout. They said, we're going to bet $2,000 and get $15,000. Woo-wee! Oh, I can't say. It's not right. I'm not saying it's right at all, but I can't blame them. I can't. Oh, golly. And then it says, during that same season, Robinson also placed 13 daily fantasy sports overline and underline bets, totaling $454. And then it says, on parlays that included his own performance, Robinson did not win on all of the bets, but he did collect $618 on one occasion. But how you betting on yourself and you don't even... How you betting on yourself and you don't win? What? What's the point? What is the point at that point? If you're going to bet on yourself and not win, delusion. Okay. Oh gosh. And then there was another $50 bet, and then they won $260 on that. And then obviously it tells you the guideline for the NCAA for Division One members, and it says the default for an athlete's punishment who bets on his or her games is permanent ineligibility. However, an athlete who violated that rule could potentially be reinstated with help of an NCAA school. Robinson played in 17 games for Fresno State, starting 16 of the 17, averaging 10.3 points per game. Weaver started 24 of his 25 games for the Bulldogs, averaging 12.5 points per game. Vasquez appeared in 29 games over 4 seasons, 3 with Fresno State and 1 season with San Jose State. So, yeah. And you couldn't even see me, but I was blocked out. But yeah, it sucks for them. I mean, if you're gonna bet on yourself, I get it. The 15,000 was one, but at this point, you ran the risk of getting caught by betting on yourself. And again, I don't know why you would bet on yourself. Like, it just doesn't make sense. There's so many other athletes that you can bet on, and you bet on yourself. Granted, was it the easiest way to do it? Probably. Was it the dumbest way? Absolutely. And now you're banned. And now you have no career ahead of you. You've washed it all away. And now you got to get a regular job because basketball is not for you anymore. So, as they say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's a stupid prize that they played. So, the NCAA is cracking down, y'all. Especially with NIL and all that coming around. They're like, no. Find somebody that's interested in you that can give you a deal. So, but you cannot do that. You cannot participate in gambling and betting on yourself. Like, you cannot actually, like, you think that you can actually cheat the game, cheat the system, and nothing's gonna happen. That's just not how that works. It's just not how it works. Period. Okay. And rounding out and finishing out my basketball content, we have Uncle Al. Oh, where did this picture go? It just was up here. Here we go. Uncle Al has signed a contract with the Golden State Warriors. He's leaving Boston and going to Golden State. Over there with Draymond Green, Curry, all of them. I guess, or whatever. On a joking note, though, I always seem to think that this man is like 50 years old. He looks so old to me. I think he's in his, going into his 19th season. So yeah, he is old. He is an older guy. But I feel like every year, like, he's kind of like Morgan Freeman, where, like, I don't feel like his face changes or grows up. It's already old. He just got an old face, and it stays old, if that makes sense. So, old man Al is heading to Golden State. Yes, he is. He's heading and taking his talents over to Golden State. I do not know why. Maybe it was cap or something. I do not know why that the Celtics let him go, or whatever. I feel like he's played there for so long. He's like a staple in their system. But he said, I gotta go where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. And the money resides in Dub City. Can't wait to see how him, Draymond, and all of them work together as a unit. Yeah. How do we feel about this? Is it something that's like, to me, it was unexpected. Because I was like, what? It's unexpected to me. But, I mean, it's no surprise. Nothing surprises me anymore. Every time I think I'm surprised, I get even more surprised. I'm not surprised. People got to move on. You got to move on. You got to move on. Like I'm about to do with this topic. Okay, that was boring. Anyway, on to some more exciting news, but really news that we already knew. Bama rolled over those Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I really thought that Georgia was going to, and I should have known better. I should have known better. But I thought, I'm like, okay, Georgia seen what FSU did to Alabama, and granted, Alabama has gotten a little better over the weeks. They have, started to unfold, which is why you don't panic in the beginning of the season. You don't panic games 1, 2, and even 3. You don't panic. Like right now in the NFL, they're going to they're fourth game. You start panicking after the fourth game, like fifth maybe, but it's such a long season. Like just don't panic. As long as they don't get to like 0-7, 0-8. At that point, you cooked kind of. You kind of cooked, right? But okay, I'm thinking Georgia saw what FSU did to Alabama and was like, have we have the transcript, we have the film, we know what to do. We know what to do, and they're coming in our house. You think that I'm gonna let Alabama come here and roll over us in our house after we saw what Florida State did to them? That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. Yeah. They let Alabama roll right over them. Rolled it. Alabama struggled on some of the plays and everything, but overall they looked good. They looked good. Very surprising to me because, like I said, I didn't expect that at all. I thought they were finally going to be up one. They was going to be up one. They was going to get one. I was wrong, clearly. They weren't going to get one. They didn't get one at that. So, better luck next time. Bama is going to play Vandy at home, and I think that's going to be one heck of a game. College game day is going there, so I think it's going to be one heck of a game. Vanderbilt looks really, really good this year, and they have really just been, handing it to everybody that they play. So this will be very interesting to see. If Alabama shows up and plays like they did against Georgia, then they won't have any issues or any problems. If they do not, if they regress, they're going to lose. I'm just going to say it like that. If they regress, they are going to lose. So they need to make sure that they show up the same way they showed up against Georgia. That's just my opinion. Ole Miss, they partying down there in the SIP. Okay? They partying in the SIP. Yes. Ole Miss beat LSU. I remember looking at the game and I was like, whoa, hold on. I didn't expect that. That's not what I expected. I have become a fan of Coach Lane Kiffin. I think I've been a fan for quite some time, but I'm really a fan now, especially when I saw the post with his daughter is dating one of the weeks from LSU, and then they posted it, and it was going all over the internet, and it was like, oh, will she root for? She knows who she's rooting for. Stop playing. If you thought she was going to root against her, she probably silently was rooting for her man when he was on the field, but she knew she was going to root for her dad. And the Rebs, she knew that. She wouldn't play. Y'all thought that she was going to mess that up. Absolutely not. I never had any of these doubts. I knew what she was going to do. I never had a doubt for a fact. I knew that that's what she was going to do. And yeah, Weeks looked a little weak in the stomach, puking everywhere. I'm like, why do I see this video of this boy puking on the field? Why do I keep seeing it? Do you think I want to keep seeing that one play? Can we play something else? Play something else. I don't want to keep seeing it. But Ole Miss is looking really, really good. The SEC is looking competitive. The ACC is looking pretty competitive too. But they're looking really good. And again, I did not expect LSU to fall to Ole Miss, but they did. And it's actually a bowl game, I think. And yeah, there's that. Another upset was Oregon, the team I'm never sold on. Oregon went into Penn State in the night whiteout, which looks phenomenal. Um, and they beat them. So the head coach, Mr. Franklin, is pretty bad in terms of record when it comes to top 10 opponents. I believe it was like four and was it 4-21? Four and he only won 4 games out of that. So I think maybe there's just I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't watch neither team enough to know, but I just know that people are not appreciating him falling to top 10 opponents. And it's kind of one of those things like you can't keep faltering. I just think Oregon is kind of like their kryptonite in this current phase of football, and you really just can't do anything about it. I mean, you can by winning, but in Penn State's case, it doesn't look like Oregon is going to stop beating them anytime soon. So I don't know. I just feel like that's this team has just become their kryptonite, and it's just I think one of the newest. It might not be that new. I don't really keep up too much with Penn State or Oregon. I'm just never sold on either team. I do know that. I'm never sold on either team. It's like I'm never truly sold on like Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is good, but I'm never fully sold on them. Just yet. Like it takes me getting to maybe the playoffs for me to see, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But otherwise than that, I'm really never sold on them, you know. But that's just my opinion on it. Going in and moving into NFL updates and news. So there's been a lot of injuries happening. The breaking news. Malik Neighbors is out for the season with an ACL injury. That kind of sucks, especially the Giants put in Jackson Dart. They actually beat the Chargers, who were 3-0. And this is the first time since, I believe, 2003 that the Giants have beaten a 3-0 team, or that a team that was, 0-3 got beat by a team that was 0-3, whatever. But, stranger things have happened. So it's really not a stat that I was really like, oh, wow, that's so surprising. Because it's not. It's the NFL and things happen. Literally. The Chargers showed up and just didn't play a good game at all. It was not complimentary football at all. So I don't want to look at that and I'm thinking, oh, Jackson Dart was no, it turned out to be a good game for him to start because the Chargers did not show up and they didn't play well. But I still think that the Chargers are high top contenders. I just feel like every team has that one game that just, slaps them on the back of the neck. Pow! And I think that this was their game. So I think that the Chargers are going to be okay. I think that Jackson Dart needed that start. Jackson Dart needed that start. I think Jackson Dart needed that start and needed that win to really, have his confidence to where it needs to be for him to continue to go on. But their schedule is hard. I think they faced the Eagles like twice within 4 weeks. I think we went over the schedule the last video. So Jackson Dart definitely needed that confidence moving forward. Russell Wilson said, I'm not retiring. I'm not giving up. I know that y'all calling me an old man. Y'all think that I can't play football no more. But I just don't think that the system was right for me. And I'm not giving up. Okay? Old man still walking. And allegedly, the Giants are going to try to trade him or put him up for trade discussions before that deadline. So he could be leaving the Giants. And I know that Sierra is screaming at the top of her lungs like, you are not leaving. Because Sierra, and I know they probably got all the nannies and the movies and all that stuff. They got all that stuff. But it's just like having to pick up the kids. And they got like 4 kids. They got to pick up all the kids and travel to go somewhere else in case if he does get traded. And I just know she's probably like, I want to stay put. Hell, she probably ain't moved with them for real. Russell probably living over there by himself. Sierra probably stayed with the kids back in probably like LA somewhere. I don't think that she went to Pittsburgh either because it was just too much. That's just my opinion. Maybe they in Atlanta. Maybe they're like, we'll be on the same coast as you, but we're not going to be it. Hell, I know they're not in Denver no more. I do know that. They're not in Denver. But, yeah, Russell is likely out of there. And, I mean, I discussed this on the last video, so I'm not going to get back into it. But I'm not completely sold that Jackson Dart was the absolute changer, savior, playmaker just yet. I have to see them play another team that's been playing really, really well. So, like the Eagles, I have to see him play against the Eagles, which is again one of the top uh, pass rushing defenses and all that stuff. So, I want to see him play in an environment where they're really going to challenge him and test him to see if like huzzah, this is the answer. He may very well play really, really well against them, but I need to see them because again, the Chargers were not a good test in my opinion against him, but. Yes, Malik Neighbors is out, and it sucks because it's like, wow, we finally get a QB change, and I finally get an opportunity to play how I want to play, and I really get a chance to be with a quarterback that I feel like is going to highlight me and really help me get my yards, and then boom, I'm hurt. He's out. So I do hope that he has a speedy recovery because that's one heck of an injury. Yeah. The Dolphins have finally got their first win. 27-21 over the New York Jets. In case anybody cared. Fins up. Is that the saying? Fin Is that the saying? Fins up? I think it is. Fins up. All right. Who else is hurt? Lamar Jackson is allegedly hurt with a hamstring. I'm saying allegedly because I haven't seen any like rulings or anything like he's out or anything, but during the game against the Chiefs, he did get out and was out with a hamstring injury. They also lost a couple key players on their defense, which they need all the players that get on that defense over there. You know, coming in, they were like the Ravens have also one of the top defenses, and they just have been falling short in almost every game that we've seen thus far. And maybe they're just not gelling and meshing yet. Maybe they just need time to unfold and unpack it. But it's going to be hard to do that when you have injuries on that defensive line. So they are going to have to, I can't believe, and again, I'm not saying this as a fan, I'm giving you this like journalistic wise. They're going to have to really figure out how to gel and mesh it together for that defense to work because there's no way or rhyme or reason that the Ravens have those many key players on their defense and it's not lights out. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rhyme. It's too many over there. You got too many big name contracts over there for it to not be gelled and smoothed out. Derrick Henry seems to be back and, you know, no fumbles and things. So we're gonna see. We're gonna hope that he can just maneuver and get his way and be the Derrick Henry that everybody knows him to be. Who else is injured and hurt? I can't remember. It was one more. And of course I didn't write it down. But anyway, that's updates for NFL. The games were cool. I feel like the games were all right. Daniel Jones did lose. Daniel Jones and the Colts did lose, so they have now their first loss. So he will not be getting his $100,000 incentive for this game, and that's okay. He already won $300,000 of it more. It was a really, really good game, really, really tight game, and I think again, Daniel Jones and the Colts are going to be just fine. I thought that he played kind of mid, but they played against the Rams, and I said that in the last video that I think it's going to be a good battle test for them. So I think now that they see where they're up against, I think they're going to make some adjustments there. I think they're going to be just fine. The Houston Texans did get their first win. I don't know how that happened, but they did get it, and that's that. The Bears have won 2 back-to-back. The Dallas Cowboys and the Packers. Everybody thought that the Packers were going to go in and dominate Dallas, and I don't think that happened because the game ended in a tie. 40-40. That's a lot of points. That's 80 points in an NFL game. 80 points in an NFL game. Michael Parsons did show up, but I don't think he showed out. That's just my opinion. Everybody said that Michael was going to get there and he was going to sack Dak about 5 or 6 times and he was going to do all of that. All the odds. Where was it? Okay, he did sack him, but where was it? Where was this absolutely show out, blowout Micah? I didn't see it. Maybe I was asleep for half the game. I don't know. If y'all saw it and I didn't see it, like let me know. Let me know. Type it in the comments. I mean, y'all like to slide in my DMs after y'all see my videos, which I don't understand why. Just write it in the comments. I'll talk to y'all back. I really will talk to you back. I don't think Micah showed up as he was projected to show up, and I think Jerry Jones is very happy about that. I think Jerry Jones is like, George Pickens played really great, looking like a wide receiver one, really showing out some of the catch. The catch that he made was phenomenal. So I was like, that's the George that I know. So he looked really, really good. And again, I think both defenses are just, dumpster dog trash on both ends. And I think the Packers were just up on a high with their defense. And again, I said the Packers defense was good. I think they have potential to be good. We've seen the potential with the Packers. So it's not like I was just tripping when I was like the Packers are good. We've seen them be good. They just kind of looked very mid they looked like trash the past two games. So I, I don't know what they got going on there. So that's for them to figure out whatever. But that game did not go as most expected it to go, and it ended in a tie. So at this point, they both won the trade. How about that? They both won the trade. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. Okay, moving on. This is out of order. Okay, so I thought this picture was AI when I first seen it. I'm making it a little smaller though. I thought it was AI when I first seen the picture. And I was like, that's a big ass flag. That is huge. Huge. Terrible towel. Not a flag, but in those type of games, it's usually like flag material and not towel material. So that's why I said it's a flag. But huge. Huge. Phenomenal though. Really lovely. As you all know, the Vikings did fall to the Steelers 24-21. And the game was really good back and forth, highly competitive, I would say. I think the defense showed up in aspects where they needed to show up. The fourth quarter, though, for both teams was dumpster dog trash. I think that the Steelers' fourth quarter performance was horrendous. Like, horrendous. And they never make it easy for their fans. They never make it easy for their fans. They can't just close the game out. They can't just get it done and have an early lead, hold on to it, and just finish it out. They let the Vikings come back, and the Vikings was fighting forward. The Vikings had piss poor call playing at the end of that game because they rightfully could have went up and scored and finished off that game. But I think the play calling for the Vikings was not up to par. And I think that was piss poor, and that kind of like saved it. The defense, like I said, did step up. It looked much better coming into this game. This was mainly like I said before my previous video, really a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, celebrating the Rooney family. And to get a win was like the icing on the cake, or really was like the cherry on top. That was the cherry on top. Let me show you the icing on the cake, though. The icing on the cake. The icing on the cake for me was this right here. This was the icing on the cake. Look here. One more time. Look at Aaron Rodgers. And I had to take the audio off there because this is not my video. I do not want anybody from the NFL or anything trying to strike my video for any copyrights. I do not own the copyrights to that video. I did screen record it. But Aaron Rodgers, icing on the cake, buddy. Come on. One more time. Bow. Aaron Rodgers has embraced becoming a Steeler. Welcome to Pittsburgh. They have ignited like old school Rodgers, like back in the day Rodgers getting in, doing it. There's another play where they do the touch push and he just stands back and watches and he's like, first down. First down. I'm not getting involved in that. And I don't blame him. He's a little old. The last thing that anybody needs right now is for Aaron to be going down. Absolutely not. So I 100% agreed with him not doing it and standing back there and watching and saying this is the first down, leading the pack, leading from the front. I finally feel as though that I feel like he's been embraced it, but seeing this game and how he had so much leadership and so much grit and grunt and that tackled right there. I know people are like, he was already going down. It don't matter. He saw it, he did it, he got it done. Period. I feel like he's finally embracing it, just like DK Metcalf said, I'm home. I'm finally at home. I feel like they're finally taking, the team by the ranks. They're finally showing up. They're finally, representing and being that leadership on the team, that veteran presence. And I think it's bittersweet to see, because we've watched Aaron Rodgers' journey from Packers to Jets to, is he going to retire, to now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that this is the most, I think, well-rounded and put together Aaron Rodgers that we have seen in a long time. We already know what kind of athlete he is, what kind of man he is, what type of guy he is, but the struggles that he went through in New York and just how he always looked so like unhappy. He looked like he hated his life, and although he was saying opposite, it was just like he was hating his life. And I reported that his ex said that she hated her life, and I think that she hated her life because he hated his life and was making her life hell. But that's just my opinion. But I think that it was really the icing on the cake. I think that they looked like they really wanted to be there, and it felt like a really a real home game. And the NFL is pushing for 16 international games. The only thing that I would say with that is, if they're going to have the international games, I do think that the teams probably should arrive a little earlier in the week. Like, they arrived on Friday to play on Sunday. And I feel like when you're on a plane for so long, you get a little jet lag and you go out there and practice. I mean, they showed up and looked just fine. So maybe that they're not gonna change the rules. But I think, they get there a little earlier to get settled in, to get acclimated and things like that. Would be really cool for them. I like the international games. I don't like how early they are, of course, but having the 16 games, because they really want to get every team over there to play internationally. It's like this for some athletes, that is their first time leaving the country. Some of them, it's their first time, having that type of experience, because even college football goes over to Ireland and they start off their season across the country. So if you're one of those two lucky schools, then you kind of get that experience. But I think the 16 is a lot. That is a lot. But I said on my last video that I felt as though that the NFL was going to really, really expand it out as much as they can. And I was right. I definitely was right about that, because they went from like one international game, then they went to two, and then it was like six, and now they're like 16. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. And I would hope that the way that they do the schedules is that they schedule their international game and then they built in their bye week right after that. So at least it gives them time to get back home, get acclimated, and all that stuff. So that's going to be really tough on NFL, like scheduling and all of that stuff. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm excited to see what they do and how they transform this whole going international thing. But I told you guys, they are going to do it. So if they can't actually place a team over there, then the teams are going to be going over there. I mean, they already do it in Mexico, Germany, London, Ireland. They're just going to keep expanding as much as they can. And they have fans all over the world, because I watched videos where fans were coming from, not only just from the United States over there, but they were coming from Germany into Ireland. They were coming from Australia into Ireland. So it was just super cool to see. Like, and Pittsburgh is one of those fan bases that has, it's a legacy fan base. So they have a lot of fans all over the world. Dallas, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the 49ers, I want to say Green Bay as well, or maybe the Bears. So like, these are storied franchises that have been around for ages. So they have fans everywhere. So it made sense to me when they started to really hit the footprint in the international space and really expanding it out. So again, I'm really looking forward to see how they really revamp that and how they include 16 international games. That is a lot, but I feel like if anybody's going to make it happen, it's going to be Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell is going to figure it out, because he's about his coin. And as long as he is the commissioner of the NFL, yeah, everything that he wants to happen is going to happen for sure. We do have a round of applause moment For Travis Etienne, he has surpassed 3,000 rushing yards. So this is, something big coming from the Jaguars because you're like, it's the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 3-1. Did anybody see that coming? I didn't see that coming. I'm trying to figure out who they beat. I can't remember. I haven't been keeping up. But the Jaguars are 3-1, and Etienne has surpassed 3,000 rushing yards. And by the end of the season, he's definitely going to add on to that. Obviously, there's so much more football to go. But the fact that he has done it and it already, getting to that point in the fourth game of the season with just overall in his career, it's really outstanding and really shows you like who is that staple and who's become that staple on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if they keep it up with this record, they're going to be pretty high up in their division. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to be pretty high up there and being they're going to definitely be more competitive than what we've previously seen. I mean, we've that one year where they got all the way to the divisional and then they just like bailed out. I don't know what happened there, but I think they're trying to get back on track to get there. So big ups to the Jacksonville Jaguars for that, of course. And we also have another round of applause for my homie. Patrick Mahomes becomes the fastest and youngest quarterback to reach over 250 passing touchdowns. He surpasses Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had the record for the longest time, and he had actually accomplished it in 121 games, and Patrick Mahomes accomplished this in 116 games. And let me remind you of all the people who are not team Patrick Mahomes. We are going to brag about him because he is not only a 3-time Super Bowl champ, he's a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time AP MVP, 6-time Pro Bowler, and he is now at 252 passing touchdowns, which is the 27th overall. So he is top 30. He's 30 for 30. And he's only 30 years old. So, come on. Come on. How can you hate a winner? They do that. They do. They not with him. They not with Mahomes. Okay? Mahomes is him. There's no question about it. Okay? So, round of applause for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who finally looked more like the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens as they definitively beat them 37-20. And it was like, okay, the Chiefs are starting to make their way back. Another team that has too many weapons offensively for them not to jail. Worthy came back. Worthy looked great. Noah Gray looked great. Thornton is becoming one of those playmakers. Travis Kelce showed a glimpse of he got it together a little bit. There was a nice glimpse there. I will give him that for once. And I think that the Chiefs are going to be okay. That's why I said I wasn't panicking in the first 3 games. But really, I think they're starting to just gel, mesh, get things back together. And they still are missing a key component in Rashee Rice. And he comes back week 7. So I think once they get to that week 7, if they can go ahead and win and up to week 7, they're going to be in a really, really good place. Kareem Hunt, I think they have a lot, like I said, a lot of weapons, like too many weapons for the team to not be where they need to be. I still think, though, getting OBJ in a Chiefs jersey would just be like, hello, like lights out. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it would have been really good to get him in a Chiefs jersey. I feel like, a lot of people who are fans of OBJ are just like, wanting to see him play again. And it was like, whoa, the Chiefs could really use it at this point, But yes, congratulations to Patrick Mahomes for making history, continuing to add to his already storied and, just amazing career. And he's going to keep going in that career. He said he wants to play into his 40s. He wants to be like Aaron Rodgers out there, Tom Brady and all of them, playing until they're old and getting knocked down. But if anybody can do it, I definitely think Patrick Mahomes can do it. Again, some of the quarterbacks that are playing in today's game are just in a lane of their own, and Patrick is one of them who is in a lane of his own. And I will continue to support everything that he does because I love Patrick Mahomes. Okay, now moving on. We got a lot of things to talk about. I already know, y'all. I already know. So I talked about the injuries. I gotta go back because when I brought up OBJ, I realized that he actually came out and spoke about the MetLife turf and football turf in general. Like turf is taking the players out. It's taking them out left and right and left. Okay, they are not surviving the carpet monster in the turf. Okay, they're not surviving it. They're getting toe up from the flow up. Okay, so in this case, that's too small. Sorry, y'all. That's too small. I'm gonna read off of here. So notable ACL and Achilles tears suffered at MetLife Stadium since 2020. We're in 2025. So since 2020, they already accumulated too many. Okay, so Nick Bosa was in 2020, Solomon Thomas 2020, Jabril Peppers, who is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, okay, 2021. Almost took the man out. Almost took the career right underneath of him. Wan'Dale Robinson 2022, Sterling Shepard 2022, Kyle Fuller 2022, Aaron Rodgers 2023, and now Malik Neighbors in 2025. So the freaking turf has been taking out parts of their own. They've been taking out parts of their own and parts of the competition. And that's really, really sad. And it's like, yo, this is a problem. The turf is a problem, but this is a conversation that's been having, that people have been having over the past few years. They've been saying, like, go back to grass. Grass is, is better, especially on the players. And, grass is also a lot to maintain and to upkeep. And I think that's why they go to turf. But the turf is taking the players out. And it sucks that Malik Neighbors is playing at home on his home turf and gets taken out by the turf. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make it up at all. Another thing that you really can't make up is that the coaches be beefing. The coaches be beefing. Okay? So you already know Robert Saleh. He is now the DC for the 49ers. And then you have the head coach, Liam Coen. And they got into it. After the game. So the Jacksonville Jaguars did beat the San Francisco 49ers. That to me is not like, oh my God, I did it, because the 49ers have not been, they've been a walking Band-Aid since the season began. So I'm not super surprised there. Jacksonville is at 100% health. Are they at 100%? They might be 100% healthy or majority healthy. Let's say that. The Jaguars are at majority healthy and the 49ers are not. They are toe up from the flow up, literally. So them winning this game was no surprise to me. But what was a surprise to me is that after the game, head coach Liam went up and was like, keep my name out your mouth. He had a Will Smith moment. On the field. And was like, I'm not handling this professionally. I'm going at his neck. Keep my name out your mouth. Keep my name out of your mouth. And I guess he thought that Robert Saleh was going to be like, he was going to be some Chihuahua, because Chihuahuas bark back. He thought he was going to be a Shih Tzu or something. I'm not sure what he thought he was going to be. He thought he was going to back down. Robert Saleh was like, who was you talking to? And y'all know I am a fan of Robert Saleh, so I was automatically on his side. Because I'm like, Coach, calm down. What is you doing? First of all, it's something different when you're out and open and you're on the field and there's literally lights, cameras, action everywhere around you. I understand he may have been heated. And apparently Robert Saleh said that the Jacksonville Jaguars legally still signs. I believe they're talking about calls like play call signs. And he said legally, if I'm not mistaken, but he ain't like that. He ain't like that. And honestly, I feel like if if he wasn't doing it, why would you be mad? But it was just like, come on, coach. Come on. This is not the time to have your Will Smith moment. You won, take your win, go into the locker room, go have, post game. And then in post game, he was like, I'm not talking about it or whatever. It's like, okay, we understand. We get it. But doing it on the field when there's literally eyes everywhere, cameras everywhere, and then to have it overshine your moment of you winning the game, because after they won, that's all I read was talking about. It blew up all on my timeline of Twitter or X, all on Instagram, hell, even threads. It was up and down threads. And it took away from the moment of the Jacksonville Jaguars being 3-1 because head coach has lost his cool. And this is, again, we've seen head coaches lose their cool before, but he's a new head coach. And I think it's like, okay, just settle down, settle it down. Okay, I don't think that he could take Robert Saleh anyway. If I'm just being honest, I don't think that he could take Robert Saleh. So he needed to calm down. I think they just took away from the moment of him celebrating his team and the team win, because nobody's now talking about your team win. And I think if you wanted to have a conversation with him, if you wanted to come at him, do it maybe in the tunnel when there's less cameras, or do it, I don't know, do it after the game, obviously, but just not in the middle of the field. That's just my opinion on it. Feel free to tell me what your opinion is on it. But I just, it was just kind of like tasteless in my opinion. Unprofessional. Unprofessional. And you can't, I mean, you can, obviously, because he did. But leading a team and leading from the front, especially a fairly young team, like just set the tone and set the example by just not even responding to it. That's just my opinion, though. Feel free to let me know what yours is. Okay? We always go on and we always say it is God, family, football, in that order. Those are the three things. So I found it very, very weird when I saw so much commentary and hooping and hollering and hollering and hooping over Tyreek Hill missing practice to celebrate his father on his birthday. He was at, he posted a picture about him and his dad was dressed in red and they were celebratory and having those moments. And it was like, okay, he's missing practice. He didn't miss the game or whatever, but it's also like, what happened to God, family, football? What happened to that family aspect? Now it's weird for you to show up for your family. And at the end of the day, his father is getting older. And those are moments that you have to cherish with your parents, because the next day is a promise to anyone, especially when you have older parents. Like, was he supposed to be like, nah, Pops, I can't come to your birthday because I have the most important practice of my life? No. And if it was anything of what I'm thinking it probably was a walkthrough anyway. But it's just like, it's Tyreek Hill, and I don't see what the big problem is. I don't see what the big moment and why everybody needed to kind of slam and bash him on the internet for him going to celebrate his father for his birthday. And I feel like you never know how many more birthdays you get with your parents. So I don't blame him for going to celebrate his father, because that is his father. And that's just my opinion on it. But while I am here on Tyreek Hill did suffer an injury and was carted off in the game tonight for Monday Night Football against the New York Jets. They did end up winning 27-21, but he was carted off, and we shall see what his fate is. Is not going to be looking too good, but he, was carted off. He was clapping and all of that, so it's not like it's definitely a lower body extremity injury for sure. Hopefully it's not a ACL, MCL, or hopefully it's just like a mild hamstring or something. I didn't see the play when it went down, but that is breaking news. Okay, but I don't blame him for going to celebrate his father, because that's his father. That's his father. Would you not celebrate your father? Another thing I don't understand as well too is there was so much harping and complaining, and that's interesting and that's weird, because Chris Jones decided to go to his aunt's funeral in Mississippi, and then he had to fly in to play the game against the Baltimore Ravens. Again, he didn't miss the game. He did not, out of the game. He was like, I have to be at two places at one time, and I'm going to make the best out of my time because this is my family. We do not know the relationship that he had with his aunt. We do not know, but that's his family. Somebody passed away in his family, and the one thing that the commentators could say is that's weird. How interesting. He's not here with the team. He got there right before kickoff and played one heck of a game. He was out there with his team. Again, he showed up. What are we complaining about? What are we complaining about? That is his family. Why are we like this when it comes to people's families? Because guarantee if it was you, you would not have made any decision or done anything differently than what he did. Hell, you probably wouldn't have showed up to the game. You probably would have been at the repast partying and eating the fried chicken. Because y'all know the repast chicken is always the best. I don't know, maybe not at yours, but at mine, every time we have a good funeral, the chicken is always the best. It's like when you go to the baby shower, the meatballs is always the best. I be trying to ask them if they can do like chicken or turkey meatballs because those is always the best. But, you probably wouldn't have went. You probably wouldn't have went to the game. You probably were like, nah, I'm not playing in that game. But he showed up ready to work, ready to get out there on the field. A super emotional day and a super emotional game for him. But first he had to tend to his family. And I don't see how we have anything bad to say about somebody attending to their family. Because it's supposed to be God, family, and football. So I thought it was really ill for anyone and everyone to have so much to say about this when, again, he's attending to his family, and I don't see how you can even have anything bad to say about that. I don't see how you can hate on that. I don't see how you can hate on that. But again, that's just my opinion, and I commend him for even showing up and playing in the game and helping the Chiefs get to that win over the Baltimore Ravens. Boom. Okay. I did skip one, though, but I'm going back to it. So, Skylar Thompson, who is the backup quarterback, and he was actually on IR for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was robbed in Ireland. Robbed. And this is what he looks like, guys. So, a few of y'all was in the comments saying that it was about race and that Skylar was black and that it was so wrong and upsetting that they robbed a black quarterback, or they robbed the black guy in Ireland, which is known to be predominantly non-black. And I just want to know, where did y'all get that from? Where did y'all get that from? Where did y'all get that from? See, we're so focused on race that we missed the plot. We missed the plot. When I was in those comments, I was like, what in the world is we talking about? What are we talking about? Yeah, he may got a little tan, but what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What? Okay. And then another thing that just was driving me nuts, and this is my show, so I'm gonna say what I want to say because it's my show. Okay? But another thing that was driving me crazy is, instead of condemning the fact that he got robbed, people in the comments made it about President Trump and said that Ireland hates the US and that's why the young man was robbed. What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What? Go outside and touch some grass. Touch the grass. Okay? Because that didn't make no sense to me. No sense at all. Just tone deaf, out of whack, losing the plot. Losing the plot. At the end of the day, the facts are the facts, that this young man, young man, I keep forgetting I'm mirrored, but the young man was out and about on Friday and he got robbed. And there is no way, shape, or form that this should be anything other than that. It's wrong. And I get why some people are saying, well, this is why we shouldn't have international games. But we didn't even get the full details to figure out what was going on before people just hopped on it and assumed and just ran off with the narrative. Yes, the NFL needs to do better with their security of their players, with the safety of their players and organizations that are over there, because do they think that the people don't know that they're coming over there? Yes, they know. And people that work in these places are probably spreading the news and spreading the word that the Steelers are coming into town, that the Vikings are coming into town, whatever team is coming into town. So they know when they're going to get there. They know where they're going to be. They know they may know what they look like. They may not know what they look like, especially if they're going out on the street in plain clothing, or they're going to a bar, or they're going to some type of somewhere where he's not with the security of the team, or security of his teammates. I don't know the full situation of whatever happened, and I will do more research on it to bring it back to you. But I just feel like we have to stop missing the plot and making things not what they are, because it is what it is. He was robbed in Ireland. That is what it is. It is nothing more than that. He was a victim of a crime. Period. And we should not be making any other excuses or explanations of what happened or why it happened. No, he was a victim of a crime. And if anything, he looks more like a local than he would if he was over here. Anyway, 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 we're gonna move on from that, because I can go on a rampage, and I can stay on as long as possible. We are almost done. I am out of order because I definitely talked about college football already, but we're going to bring it back up. Again, y'all know I like to put up the AP poll every time it comes out. So this is the updated week 6 AP poll for the top 25. And I honestly think that every school that is on this list is deserving of being on this list. Maybe not Notre Dame. My school to hate on this year is Notre Dame, but I think every school is really doing a great job up there. Ole Miss, like I said, Ole Miss looked really great, and they've been looking great, especially with them beating LSU, and LSU was in the top 5 for the past 5.5 weeks. Oregon is up there. Again, like I said, I'm never a true believer in Oregon, but Oregon is up there. Ohio State is still holding strong at number 1, and rightfully so. Miami looks great and is handling business on there. The Sooners are doing what needs to be done. I am still a little worried about their quarterback situation, but they are holding it down. The Aggies, gig 'em. They're doing what needs to be done over there. They're doing it. And I agree with their coach when the coach was like, how about we talk about their record for a moment? Like, this is they've played absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the best records that they've had starting off, and they should be excited about it, and they should be talking about it, and we should be wanting to ask questions about that. But right out the bat, they're asking about the negative things, and they're asking about what happened with this, and why did y'all do this, and how'd you miss this tackle? And again, like I said before my last video, I'm not gonna go on my rant again, but the reporters need to start reading the room. And it sucks because as seasoned reporters that get to be in these spaces, that other outside of independent media would die to be in those spaces with these coaches and ask the really not, I won't say hard questions, but want to ask the questions that the people really want to know. And you're in there and you're automatically pissing them off by asking them a negative question. And then, like I said before, they never want to start off with a negative. How about you highlight the positive, and then you go into those hard questions, as you should go into those hard questions, but not right off the bat. So I do agree with that coach there, and I think that he did a phenomenal job. I'm surprised that Penn State is still up so high with them losing to Oregon, but then again, it's like, well, they lost to Oregon, and Oregon is up there at the top. Indiana is looking phenomenal. I really think that Indiana should be ahead of Penn State, but that's just my personal opinion there. The Longhorns, Alabama has shot their way up to where, a lot of fans feel like they should be anyway. And the rest of the teams are holding strong. Texas Tech looks great. Like I said before, Vandy looks great. Georgia Tech is holding off. They did beat Wake Forest, and in overtime, I feel like they should have dropped a little bit with that. I mean, I get a win's a win, but you beat Wake Forest. But that's just my opinion. Um, I do feel as though that Mizzou should be right behind Vandy, but that's just my opinion on that. Illinois looks good. BYU did shut down Colorado. Colorado got some things to work on and things to think about. They show glimpses of greatness and they show glimpses of being trash. I think they just need to figure out which one they're going to be and they need to stick to that game plan. Virginia looked good. And of course, the Sun Devils are always right there on the tail. They're on the tail of greatness with their coach over there, with Coach Kenny. So I think they're doing great things. And this AP poll, I actually don't have too much of a harp about it. I don't. Looking at it, I really don't. I don't. I think that this one looks a lot better than the ones we've seen in the past few weeks, in my opinion. And the last topic that I have, so I can get up on out of here, is that the Super Bowl halftime performer has been announced. Are you ready for this? Bad Bunny! Yeah! Okay. Now back to being serious. No, for real. Bad Bunny, he's a Grammy Award winning Latin artist, and he is apparently the most streamed artist in the world, and he is going to be on the Americans' biggest stage, which is the Super Bowl. For some reason, I feel like people are getting it confused because definitely the World Cup and FIFA and all that is the world's biggest stage. And if you want to take it a little bit further, you can say the Olympics. But in terms of like annual sports and things, like, yeah, soccer definitely has the biggest world stage. Football, NFL is an American is an American stage, not a world stage, in my opinion. And I think that people just get it confused. The Super Bowl is the Americans' biggest stage. Yes, it is. But the world's biggest stage is definitely the World Cup, FIFA, and all of that. So he will be, I think he would have actually been really, like, really well fitted for the world stage, for a FIFA or for like World Cup, because I feel like his audience is more into that. And that's no tea, no shade, no takeaway from any of that. But I feel like he is more relatable to the huge fan base that the World Cup has. So I think that he would have been fitting for that stage. However, he is going to be doing the Super Bowl in Santa Clara this year, representing California. And I have to dive more into his music because I only know two songs. And my favorite one is Mia. Mia, Mia. And that's with Drake. I love that song. So I really hope that that's on there because that's the one I'm going to really, really know. But how do you guys feel about this? Are you excited? Are you excited about it? Or are you feeling like, I don't know? I don't know. How you feel? Let me know how you feel about this. I was in the comments because I know I stay in the comments. Half the comments was like, we don't even know his songs or his music. We're probably not going to watch. It's probably going to be one of the, not highly streamed Super Bowl performances. I think it'll do well because he has a loyal fan base, and I think that they will tune in for it. I think that some people are open to it. It's very different. It's very, very different. I think at this point we'll now have almost all, obviously we had J-Lo and Shakira up there, but those are different because I feel like more people know them because they're more American-based artists that also are heavily involved in the Latin community. So I think that that's just different. Like when you see artists like that and they, grace a stage that is so big, But I think I have to get involved more with his music to really understand. I know pretty soon here they're gonna have the Super Bowl playlist come out of, some of them are gonna be like songs that they think he's gonna play. Some of them are gonna be, as you get closer to the Super Bowl, are going to actually be like the song list. So I'm gonna have to really just tune in to ensure that I know what to expect, that I know the songs, because like I said, I personally only know two of his songs, and he's probably gonna at least do like five, six. If he does like 30 seconds of each, he can do like 10. I don't know. But yes, Bad Bunny will be taking over and he will be doing the halftime show. So, round of applause for him and getting this accomplishment. So, yeah, that is it for the show. I know that we had a lot to talk about. I know that I was on here just yapping away, but we had a lot to talk about because the weekend was very eventful. It was very eventful. Please make sure that you guys are liking the video, leaving me a comment. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Put your bell notifications on so you can get your updates for when I will be on starting October the 1st, which is literally in a few days. Not only is it my birthday month, but we will be starting our schedule again Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on X on Sunday. So I'll be streaming those days. I'll be on X doing live game day coverages when I'm not working another game. So I'll be doing my coverage over there. I will be joining somebody else's game day show. So if you're looking for me for me to talk more college game day and be more specific and tuned in over there, I'll be making that announcement pretty soon. So make sure you're over there on Instagram at PG Love Sports. Follow on all social media platforms. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on all social media platforms by the end of the year. I have a few months to get it done. So please, 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 please help me out. Share me, tell somebody to follow me, and I will it'll be so great. I'll be doing a Christmas raffle if and when I get to 1,000 followers. Okay, so make sure liking and sharing and subscribing, on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports. I love you guys for all that you do. If you want your custom apparel, please make sure you're hitting my DMs or send me an email. The links are in all of my bios for you to hit me up, but you can do at the Desirella at gmail.com or media at pglovesports.org. Whole lot of information. I was in talking a lot. I've been talking for too much already, so I'm going to go ahead and peace out, Girl Scouts, from here, and I will see